Guys, thank you so much for being with us. Josh and Hannah, I'm going to start with you guys first of all. Tell us a bit about what you do and how you want to use your platform for good. Hannah, let's start with you.
Brilliant, thank you. Hi everyone, I'm Hannah. I'm an actress across TV, theatre and film, and I'm actually in my 10th year now, so just made it onto this. And I'm really passionate about storytelling. I think obviously we see in the Bible, Jesus used the format of parables to bring life, and I'm really passionate about using art and film to make social change and impact. And when I'm not acting, I work with young people and combine my academic background in psychology to bring theatre making and well-being development. Yeah.
Fantastic. Josh, how about you?
Hi everyone, my name's Josh. I'm the director of Odyssey Ensemble, which is the UK's first professional orchestra and registered charity exclusively dedicated to amplifying refugee stories through music. We do this work because we want to put human dignity back at the heart of conversations around refugees and asylum seekers in a deeply divided and polarized UK. My background is as a professional musician, as a conductor and a pianist over the last 10 years, but I also trained as a lawyer to work with unaccompanied asylum-seeking children. And I'm blessed to be able to bring those two areas of my work together in this project.
Fantastic. Esther, we'll come to you in a moment. You guys have been through the Everything Leadership Development cohort. Tell us a bit about what it's like and how you found it.
So we're actually doing it right now. And it's honestly just so incredible. It's an answered prayer. What is really impactful about it is that we're rooted in community, and the equipping that we're getting is really building my confidence personally and allowing me to understand that God's given me these gifts, so I should step into confidence when I walk into spaces. And as an actor, I really want to tell stories to bring voice to the voiceless, particularly around trafficking and victims of that. So meeting people who share that same passion for cultural renewal in that space has been just incredible.
It's a wonderful opportunity to meet other young leaders also doing work like Hannah's just mentioned, but also a great opportunity to hear from people who have gone before us. So leaders who've got loads more experience and have navigated the complexities of life which we are facing now, and hearing from them, hearing their wisdom. But also one of the biggest encouragements for me has been time worshiping God together and praying together, which brings people together and strengthens us to go out and be agents of change in the world which God has placed us in.
Esther, if I bring you in here, what's intriguing to me about some of your journey is you're in the midst of a kind of career change right now. So tell us a bit about what you were doing, what you are going to go on to do, and like what your dreams are for using your platform for good.
Yeah, so hi everybody. I have been in the kind of media marketing world for almost 10 years, so again, snuck in. And I have loved that space. It's full of incredibly talented, creative people. I'm currently a creative strategist in an experiential agency, so I've worked in kind of marketing agencies for most of my career. Full of incredible people, minds that just inspire me every day. It is a really interesting industry to be in at the moment, from all the conversations that we've been having today, especially around AI and things like that. And I love it. I'm very passionate about it. But recently, well, if you ask any of my friends, they'd say this is a long time coming. I studied education at university and I didn't quite feel that pull at the time. But I've always been passionate about young people, about how we can use our influence to be able to positively influence the next generation. I find kids hilarious, which I think is a very important trait if you're a teacher. And so I am, as of September, I'm going to be doing a PGC and I'm going into primary education to be a teacher. So I'm going right back. Thanks. I'm very excited, yeah.
And how has going through this program helped you as you've kind of navigated that change?
Yeah, it's a really good question. Like I said, it's been quite a long journey of thinking about it, but it's definitely been solidified. We started the course in January. It's been solidified over the past few months. And I think just honestly being around people that listen to your dreams and give you space to think about what God's doing, but in a really intentional way. So I think sometimes we don't really ask the question, like, what's God doing in your career? And I've always thought, I'm not really a career person. And actually being in this environment with these people doing like amazing things, and asking you questions, what are you passionate about, crucially, and what do you think God is doing in your life, and how is he using your skill sets? And essentially, I think I've realized, I initially started the course, if I'm completely honest, thinking, gosh, everyone here is so smart, and they're all doing amazing things, and they're all entrepreneurs, and I think I've just had the most incredible experience realizing actually in God's eyes, we have so much to offer, and we have been given skill sets, and we've been given passions, and we've been given whatever, we've all got just like the most amazing mix of gifts, and the course has basically just opened my eyes to that opportunity, and also just been encouraged and really, really inspired by people stepping into those giftings. And it doesn't look like always stepping up. Sometimes it looks like stepping, in the world's eyes, I'm probably stepping backwards, but I don't see it like that. I think I'm realizing my giftings and what God's given me, and I'm trying to put them into use in a different way. Yeah, it's been amazing.
If I said the world has changed since I was your age, I would sound like a dinosaur, and I am not. However, the world has changed since Dave and Philippa were your age. So, I think a lot is said about Generation Z, Generation Alpha, Generation Beta behind them. Some of it overgeneralized, not all of it fair. Things like the anxious generation, the lonely generation. I would love to hear your perspective on what are some of the generational challenges you think you and people like you are facing, and how does this year-long program help you as you face them? Josh, let's start with you.
I think one of the challenges I've felt, and I've spoken to people about this as well, there's an increasing pressure to do more with less. So there's a squeeze, there's a massive squeeze on resources, but also the goals are moving, and the ceiling is moving higher and higher. And this can be a huge burden on our generation if it's not managed well. And that's why I think community is really, really important. As Christians, we're called to walk together and not as individuals. And the Everything Network and the community we have here has been hugely helpful to me. But it's not just the network, it's all of you in this room supporting one another as Christians, as God's people, praying for each other, upholding each other in moments of joy, but also in sorrow. I think that's hugely important, not just for my generation, but for all of us in this room.
Yeah, to add, I think one of the biggest challenges is identity and kind of knowing who you are, and tying with that mental health and well-being. And I'm just so passionate about kind of advocating for positive well-being. And as a Christian, as a believer, we know who we are. So when we step into spaces, we can walk with that confidence and authority. And when I see with my peers, especially in the acting industry, there's just such a gap there with knowing who they are. So for me, with this network, I've been so empowered to really put Jesus at the center of everything, and to really walk again with that authority in who I am, and to bring him into every single decision when it comes to, everything I do.
Yeah, I think for something that I've been thinking about for a while, actually, and I loved that conversation and discussion around friendship. I think for me, I'm seeing, like, particularly in my current industry, a lot of people really, really seeking and, wanting connection, and seeking out community, but genuinely not knowing where to find it. And then interestingly, I also think that this does impact us as Christians a lot as well. People increasingly we're in a world that's really individualistic, right? So, and we all know that. It's so focused on what your goal is or what your kind of trajectory is. And we are in a culture where I just don't think people like to be inconvenienced. And I think there's something really beautiful about the conversation around friendship and community. And actually the first conversation I had with a guy called Dan on our first night of the course, we spent about half an hour just chatting about friendship and community. And we are from completely different kind of backgrounds in terms of our career path. And suddenly, actually, we've got a lot in common with this love for what Jesus brought to community and friendship. And I think we're in a society where people don't like to be inconvenienced. They don't really want to give much of themselves because they're scared they're going to lose something of themselves, rather than being aware that they could gain so much if they were to sacrifice, if that makes sense. And I think particularly in careers and environments, even just in my office, I see that in people's interactions. And I guess I've been challenged about what it looks like to be generous. And sometimes I kind of imagine, like, if Jesus was sitting in this meeting full of very stressed creatives and me just sitting there trying to bring a bit of peace, what would he do? And I think that I've really kind of, the network's been really amazing for encouraging me to, again, like, bring Jesus into every aspect of my day, and bring some of that slightly challenging the outlook of actually it's okay to be inconvenienced because we're called to serve others, and what does that look like? Try and push past some of this individualistic attitude that's so kind of permeating our work culture.
Time has rushed on. I just want to say I think you guys are brilliant, and you are not just the leaders of tomorrow, you are the leaders of today. And I think one of the most important things I can do, people like me can do, is champion you, cheer you on, and say we are totally behind what you are giving yourself to over the next 40, 50 years of your career. I wonder if we could put our hands together and show our appreciation for Josh, Hannah, and Esther.